I will now call to order the Wytheville Town Council meeting, Monday, July 8, 2024, at 5 p.m. We do have a quorum. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilwoman Candace Johnson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is approval of the agenda. I will need a motion.
I so move.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote. We'll start with Councilwoman Johnson.
Johnson, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Taylor, aye.
Addison, aye.
Gilman, aye.
Just FYI, we can have a 6 p.m. recess if necessary. Next is the consent agenda. I'll need a motion to accept as presented for the work session and the regular meeting of June 24, 2024.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Mayor Taylor, if you don't mind, for the work session, since I was not here, I'd like to abstain for that, please. Thank you.
Agree.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes. I'm sorry. From the
It was a work
from
session.
just the work session. Yes, ma'am. But I was here for the meeting. Thank
We'll
you.
correct that.
Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? And not all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye as well. Any opposed? The motion carries. Next is a presentation by Lieutenant Brian Bard of the Wytheville Police Department regarding the departmental activities. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure to be here today. I've been asked to come here today to speak on the Wytheville Police Department's commitment to community policing. We're highlighting the department's philosophy of community-oriented policing. Here at the Wytheville Police Department, we believe in fostering a strong partnership with our community. We achieve this through high visibility patrol. Our patrol division ensures a safe presence throughout Wytheville. Dedicated detectives. Our detectives work tirelessly to solve crimes and ensure justice to victims. Innovative community outreach programs. We offer unique programs that other departments are adopting because of our proven success. These programs contribute to Wytheville's status as one of the safest communities in Virginia. We are grateful for the unwavering support of our town council, town management, and the entire community, a privilege many law enforcement agencies lack across our nation. Our commitment in action, we host a variety of events throughout the year, including safety education, community engagement, and crime prevention initiatives. We're building a brighter future. With your continued support, the Wytheville Police Department remains dedicated to being one of the best police forces in Virginia. We are committed to working together to make Wytheville an even safer, more vibrant place for everyone. First thing you see on the board here, this is our calendar, the cover of our calendar. And there's over 400 years of law enforcement experience represented on the front of our calendar. Community events, I'm just going to scroll through some pictures here. Starting at the first of the year, one of our first events that we get to participate in every year is the Martin Luther King March. And then also we provided a free CPR, AED, first aid, and Stop the Bleed class at the Wytheville Training School and Cultural Center. We also, in February, where it's also Heart Month, we provided a free CPR, AED, and first aid community class to the community. Here's where we just got to participate in Senior in the Park Day. Hundreds and hundreds of senior citizens from all over Southwest Virginia come to this program. We provided information on crime prevention, how not to be scammed, how not to be a victim. We gave away almost 400 free gun locks. It was quite the event, and it was a pleasure to be there. That's where we was set up for our lineup for the Martin Luther King Parade. This was Read Across America, Dr. Seuss's birthday week. That's always a privilege reading to all the local school children. Here is a group of high school seniors where we had a career fair up at the Wytheville Meeting Center. We do DARE. Had approximately 120 DARE students this year, fifth graders, teaching them to make smart, safe, and responsible choices. Again, there's Heart Month. This is where we was at the Wytheville Training School. Provided not only CPR, AD, and first aid, but we also did a Stop the Bleed class there. Did a presentation at the Wytheville Millwall to their employees, active shooter type training. Here's Student Government Day. We really enjoy when the high school seniors come and visit us every year, and we talk about career and law enforcement. Here I'm with the Kiwanis Club for their annual 5K event. This picture was taken 50 years ago, and that's Miss Campbell's first aid class. And in this picture is Detective Joe Kinser, Corporal Todd Matthews, and myself. I'm that good-looking little boy right there in the front with the funny pants on. And then,
Wait a minute, back up.
the best looking one right here.
And I think is that Miss Bryant, Lieutenant Bard, on the right?
I could not remember her name. Is that her name?
I think it's Miss Bryant.
She was the
at the
assistant.
museums forever.
Okay, very good. And that's Miss Campbell over there. And that's Pepsi Waller in the back. But 50 years later, I'm giving a tour to a group of kindergartners. Here we are with the future leaders. I believe it's the DECA group. Future Business Leaders of America also. A little presentation they had at the Wytheville Meeting Center. We had our Memorial Day remembrance in the park. Myself and Chief Hash attended that. The Run for the Wall riders come in earlier that day. We did a vacation safety day up at the, we had a very big Saturday, that June the 8th. We had a vacation safety day. We did safe ID fingerprinting for children, teenagers, and adults. And then there was over 150 people come to that morning. And then that afternoon, we had to tear down and set back up for the Move Over rally, which was a very big attendance up at WCC. Chicago 5K race. Community information. We work very closely with our partners in the media. We try to be very quick in getting news and information out. Very big on reporting scams and giving people tips on how not to become victim to a scammer. Weather alerts and updates. A little humor. They call them for snow, says Andy. And this is my favorite one, how to tell people the difference between a watch and a warning. We try to throw a little humor out there every now and then. We provide free CPR training generally every month in the month of February because it is Heart Month, and then we generally do quarterly CPR classes to the public at the rec center. They're always filled to capacity. We really enjoy doing those CPR, AD, and first aid training. Our speed enforcement campaigns, obey the sign or pay the fine. I'll give you some statistics on that here in just a second. Road closure information, major traffic incidents where traffic gets pulled off the interstate and has to go through downtown, child safety seat information, red light information, pedestrians, seat belts. You know, it's sad, but Virginia is just about at the bottom of the list of people buckling their seat belts. More information on chances of surviving a crash with your seatbelt on. Drinking and driving, distracted driving. Over 90% of our crashes in the town of Wytheville are non-speed related. They are driver error, and it's usually low-speed crashes, side swipes, going through red lights, going through stop signs, that type of thing. Very few of our crashes in the town of Wytheville are speed related. Reading text, emails takes your eyes off the road for 5 seconds, which is the equivalent of driving a football field. some more, and all this is stuff that we put on our Facebook constantly. Our social media presence is well watched by the community. Our pedestrians, with the nationwide fentanyl outbreak, we do see it here in Wytheville somewhat, but I like to say that we do not have the problems that people around us do. Yes, we do have issues. I'm not going to sit here and say we don't, but we do not have the issues that everybody around us does. The fake pills that the people order online or get from their drug dealers. Last year, for example, Narcan, we saved 15 people last year that overdosed because we got on scene before rescue did. And matter of fact, everybody that we gave Narcan to survived. And we could actually tell when a bad batch or a large batch come through town, because we would go a couple of months and not administer any Narcan. And then, for example, like April of last year, we give 4 doses in 1 week. So we knew a batch had come through, So that's what we are one of our top priorities now is trying to deal with these drug dealers that are bringing this into our community. Suicide prevention, providing gun locks, updates on travel weekends and such, vacation safety, giving away free gun locks, promoting Gun Safety Week, Gun Secure Week. It's a very hot summer. We're promoting, don't leave children, elderly people, animals in hot cars. We're answering a lot of calls to that right now. Here's some kids camp. We just had kids camp. That is that's our week-long program where we partner with the Wytheville Museums and the Wytheville Fire and Rescue Department. We had 35 kids this year. It was an amazing week. We go over all kinds of police procedures, and we're planting seeds. We're future police officers, firefighters, and rescue people. The kids absolutely love it. This year is going to be the first year we've ever had National Night Out here in Wythe County and Wytheville Police Department sponsoring it. Last year alone, we did almost 40 events, 40 special events, and I love doing them. Don't get me wrong, I love doing them, but I've never done National Night Out. And everybody's, we'd like to do your National Night Out. We want to come, the state police, the county, other police agencies. We want to come to yours. I'm like, well, why don't you do it, and we'll come to yours. And nobody wants to host it, so I'm hosting it this year. And there's going to be about 20 different law enforcement agencies represented in Withers Park, and that's a national night. It's the first Tuesday in August. All across the country, and that's going to be a really big event, kind of like a touch a truck format, demonstration, stuff like that, but it brings the community and law enforcement together. Oops, on something else, that ain't mine. There we go. All right, just to give you a little statistical information here real quick, we're halfway through the year. So far this year, we've answered 8,209 calls. That's this report was run just before I come up here. That averages out to about 1,300 calls a month, or roughly 50 calls a day. That if we keep going at this rate, we're going to answer over 16,500 calls this year. That is an increase of over 3,000 calls from what we answered last year. Last year it was just over 13,000. If we stay on the track that we're going, we will, like I say, over 3,000 more calls this year. But so far this year, 8,209 calls for service. Traffic violations. So far, in the first 6 months of 2024, we have conducted 1,314 traffic stops. That is for the 6 months of this year. In comparison to all of last year, we did 1,324. And our enforcement is up, major crime is down. The main reason why I see that we are having more traffic enforcement is because we've got a very young patrol division right now, where we went through the shortage, and our department was almost 50% down for a couple of years because of the nationwide shortage. And again, everybody around us is still trying to find officers. And for the most part, we are fully staffed. We've had two that has left for other opportunities, but they're going to be replaced very soon. And but our new officers, they come out of the academy. They went through their field training. They were getting their feet wet. Now that they're on the road by themselves, and they're really getting out there, and they're really going after these traffic violations. And again, enforcement up, major crime is down. I want to reiterate that last year, 2023, we had a 30% reduction in major crime over 2022. I believe that is absolutely outstanding. Where everybody in the nation, their crime stats are going through the roofs. We reduced crime by 30% here in the town of Wytheville. I think that is absolutely amazing. One of the big things I believe that is helping our department grow and maintain is that our new philosophy, which I truly believe in, is hire local, train local, and retain local. And when I say local, I'm not saying you have to be a citizen of Wytheville. I'm talking about people, Southwest Virginia, people that this is their home, this is their area. I believe when you hire people that coming from other states and Northern Virginia and other places, I call them job hoppers. They're just going from department to department trying to. I think if you hire people that have a commitment to our community, they stay in our community. So that's my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Officer. That
I've
was
got a
very-
question.
Yes.
Can you repeat something for me?
I will.
So the 1,314 traffic stops, you said that was in the 6-month period. Did I hear you
this
correctly?
6 months, yes.
Okay. All right. And compared to last year?
Last year, it was 1,324.
For the year.
And that was for the entire year?
That was for the entire year.
Awesome.
And we are 6 months in. And again, it's our new officers. They finally, we've shooed them out of the nest, and they're out here on their own.
All right.
And they're
Thank
making a
you.
difference.
Thank you to you and
Tell
Chief
them I
Ash
said
and the
thank you.
entire police department for all that you do. I appreciate you all.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Lieutenant Bart, I do have a question if you don't mind. And you said you all are just short two right now just because the other took opportunities, but those will be backfilled or whatever, correct? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on the consent agenda is to consider a resolution setting forth the meeting dates, times, and place of the regular meetings of the Wytheville Town Council through June 23rd, 2025. Mr. Freeman, do you have a few words for that?
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. Yes, I do. This is a pretty standard operating procedure for the council. It's something that the code requires you to do every year. You do have in your packet, I believe it is enumerated page 22, a copy of the resolution with each of the regular meeting dates listed there. I do want to point out there that the second meeting date in December is already removed because I believe typically the council dispenses with that meeting, and it looks like it would conflict with Christmas anyway. So just wanted to note that there's only one December meeting in there. But pretty standard here. So I think it just is a motion and a vote by council.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Freeman?
When is the VML conference?
We actually have it's in October the 14th or 13th.
13th through the
Thir-
15th.
So we actually do have a conflict with that as well, but we do have a agenda item today to talk about that.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, need a consideration by town council to adopt a resolution. Need a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the resolution for our council meetings and times.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none, this would be a roll call vote. Mr. Gilman?
Gilman, aye.
Absent, aye.
Taylor, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Johnson, aye.
Ayes have it. Next is to consider an application from Mr. Hunter Stewart for non-traditional landscaping of property located at 725 West Main Street. Mr. Freeman will update us.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. You do have in your packet an application from Mr. Stewart for non-traditional landscaping of the property at 725 West Main Street. You all may be more familiar with this as the residual lot or the vacant lot beside of the Curves business at West Main Street and North 12th Street or South 12th Street. The landscaping ordinance or the mowing ordinance basically allows citizens to apply for an alternate landscaping or non-traditional landscaping program for their properties. Mr. Stewart has requested that he be allowed to plant 220 by 200 strips on the property as shown in the illustration that he's provided with his application. He is showing basically two 50-foot buffers on each adjoining property to the east and the west of him, and then a strip of mowed grass in the center. Currently, this is just a green field, basically just a grassy field. Staff did put this out with a 30-day comment period as required by the ordinance and did not receive any comments one way or the other about it. Had we received feedback or negative comments, it would have required a public hearing before the council would have considered this. But since we didn't get any, it's before you tonight, and you can take action on it if you wish. Staff, we think this is a good use of the this provision of the ordinance. We think it's well thought out. And frankly, if he hadn't asked permission, I don't know that we'd ever heard anything from anybody if he'd have just done it. But he has gone through the proper channels and made the application for your consideration.
All right. Thank you, sir. Now, consideration by town council to approve the request for non-traditional landscaping of property at 725 West Main Street. I will need a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any further discussion?
Mayor Taylor, the only question that I had, and I think it may be a little different, but if the property was sold, or actually if Mr. Hunter decided not to do this, or Mr. Stewart, who would take control over the wild flowers?
I think as you asked me before the meeting, I think the nature of the question was, would this transfer to the action? So Mr. Stewart is not the property owner, but in your packet, you do have a written permission provided by the property owner. So I think the question before we started the meeting was, would this transfer to the property owner? And we're thinking of it in the same way that we do with zoning, and now, as I understand, special exception permits run with the land. So we do think it would transfer.
Okay, that was my only question. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All right, this would require a roll call vote. Councilwoman Johnson?
Johnson, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Taylor, aye.
Edison, aye.
Gilman, aye.
It's unanimous. The ayes have it. Thank you. Next is to consider adopting the amended electronic meeting participation policy. Again, Mr. Freeman.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. The town council does have already in effect an electronic meeting participation policy. This was something that got really popular when COVID hit in early 2020. On July 1 of 2024, the state code made some changes to the electronic participation and particularly how quorums are determined if you have one of your membership is actually participating electronically. So Town Clerk Sherry Corvin has done a very good job of basically pulling out all the old verbiage and replacing that with the highlighted section you see there, which is just a verbatim insert from the Code of Virginia.
Any questions for Mr. Freeman? Any consideration by town council to adopt the amended electronic meeting participation policy? Need a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any further discussion? This would be a roll call vote. Mr. Gilman?
Gilman, aye.
Edison, aye.
Taylor, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Johnson, aye.
That was unanimous. Next is consideration adopting the amended 2024-25 Wytheville Town Council Rules of Procedure. Mr. Freeman.
Let's see here. So basically, moving right along with the electronic participation, we also have to modify the council's rules of procedure with the same language. So you've now modified the electronic participation policy, and all we're doing here is making your rules of procedure consistent with the electronic participation policy. So it should just mimic the exact same language you just approved.
All right, so we need a consideration by town council to adopt the amended 2024-25 Wytheville Town Council Rules of Procedure. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the 24-25 Wytheville Town Council's rules of procedure.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any further discussion? All right, here none. Again, a roll call vote. Ms. Johnson?
Johnson, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Taylor, aye.
Edison, aye.
Gilman, aye.
All right. That's unanimous. Thank you. Next is consideration and appointment to the Wytheville Tree Advisory Committee to fill the expired term of Mr. Wyth Morris. Chair, Ms. Crum, do you have anything to say?
You have 2 applications in your package for consideration for appointment to the Tree Advisory Committee. And these are the applicants that you just met with in your work session.
Will you also share about how many?
Yes, the ordinance that forms this committee says that you can have between 5 and 9 members. Right now, you have, when you make this appointment, you'll have 7, but you could have up to 9.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Corton? Consideration by town council to make an appointment to the appointments to the Wytheville Tree Advisory Committee. I need a motion.
Mayor Taylor, I would like to recommend Ms. Jenkins and Mr. Whalen, both that we interviewed at the time at our work session today, please.
All right. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Any opposed? Pass it. So congratulations to both applicants. Next is consider scheduling work session to hold a meet and greet session of appointing a member of the Smith With Airport Commission to fill the expired term of Mr. Brandon Elmore. Term expires June 30th, 2024. Ms. Corbin, do you have anything to share?
On this, you have 1 application for consideration of appointment to the Smith With Airport Commission. If you would like to schedule a meet and greet session for July 22nd, that could be scheduled at 4:30, or you can make the appointment at this meeting, whichever you prefer.
I believe you put out some information in our packet about present person on the.
Mr. Elmore is currently there, correct?
Yes, he is. He's not eligible for reappointment. He's not eligible, but there is a portion in the town code that says that you can reappoint someone for a 3rd term if you'd like to. And as you can see in your agenda information, I was contacted by a representative from the Airport Commission, and they would like for the council to consider using that clause in the town code to reappoint Mr. Elmore.
And he is interested in
Yes, he is.
remaining in the position.
Yes, he has called me and told me that he would like to remain on that board.
Well, I would like to make a motion that we use the follow section 2-211 of the town code that allows town council in its sole direction to reappoint Mr. Elmore, a committee board authority member, to another successive term. And I would also like to, if it's okay with the rest of council, I believe the other gentleman that was interested would be Mr. Hatmaker. I would like to use him as an alternate if possible, please.
Or
would you like?
That possible?
I'm not sure. That is, the Airport Commission has several governing bodies that have members on that. I'm not sure if they have alternates or not on that.
Okay. Can you
I'll
check into
on
that and see?
Yes.
Thank you.
So we have a motion before us, which we're not sure if we can.
So we need to take off the back half of that motion until Ms. Corvin can find out the information as to whether or not they can have an alternate. And right now, I guess the motion would be to go by the code 2-211 to keep Mr. Elmore.
All right, so there is a motion on the table.
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion, further discussion? I hear none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Any nays? Hear none. That motion passes. Next is to consider scheduling a public hearing for the August 12, 2024 Town Council meeting to consider an amendment to the Town of Wytheville's Charter, Section 2, Council generally. Mr. Freeman?
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. This is another byproduct of changes to the state code, which determines how governing bodies replace vacancies amongst yourselves. The state law basically has changed, and it will require us to make a charter amendment to determine how you fill vacancies. Excuse me. So right now, all we need to do is set a public hearing to consider the charter change, but you do have a copy of the proposed charter change in your packet and highlighted in yellow.
Any questions for Mr. Freeman? All right. Town Council to consider to schedule a public hearing on August 12th, 2024 to consider an amendment to the Town of Wytheville Charter. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye as well. Any opposed? Hearing none. The motion passes. Next is to consider rescheduling and canceling the October 15, 2024 Town Council meeting due to the Virginia Municipal League Conference.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. As Mr. Gilman brought up earlier today, earlier in the meeting, the VML annual conference is set for October 13th through 15th in Virginia Beach. We do have our regular meeting scheduled for the 15th, but that's pretty difficult, if not impossible, for council members to fully participate and staff to participate in the annual conference and get back from Virginia Beach on the 15th. So what we're asking is whether or not you would like to reschedule that meeting or dispense with that meeting and just have one in October.
I think we need to cancel that meeting and just have one in October.
Second.
All right, we'll do this again. All right, so consideration by Town Council to reschedule or cancel the October 15, 2024 Town Council meeting. Ms. Johnson, say what you...
I'd like to make a motion that we cancel that meeting.
All right, so I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any further discussion? This be a roll call vote. Mr. Gilman?
Gilman, aye.
Patterson, aye.
Taylor, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Johnson, aye.
It was unanimous, and we will make those changes. Thank you very much. Next is citizens period, and I do not have anybody that has requested to open for council today. We had one person that was late. No? Okay. Thank you. All right, so we'll move forward. New business, Mr. Freeman.
Nothing at this time, Mayor Taylor.
All right. Upcoming reports, upcoming meetings. Ms. Corbin?
Okay. We have several. The Wytheville Recreation Commission will meet on Wednesday, July the 10th at 5:30 at the Wytheville Community Center. The Wytheville Planning Commission will meet on Thursday, July 11th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. The Wytheville Town Council will hold a council retreat on Monday, July the 15th at 5 p.m. at the Wytheville Meeting Center. Downtown Wytheville Incorporated will meet on Monday, July 15th at 5:30 at the Downtown Wytheville office. The Wytheville Redevelopment and Housing Authority will meet on Wednesday, July 17th at 12 p.m. at the Housing Authority office. The New River Regional Water Authority will meet on Thursday, July 18th at 10 a.m. at the Water Plant in Austinville. The District 3 Board of Directors will meet on Thursday, July 18th at 6 p.m. at the Marion office. The Homestead Museum Advisory Board will meet on Friday, July 19th at 10 a.m. at the Jackson House. And the next regular scheduled meeting of the Wytheville Town Council will be held on Monday, July 22nd at 5 p.m. here in the council chambers. That's all I have, Mayor Taylor.
Thank you, Ms. Corbin. Anything under other business? Raymond, nothing under other business.
No, ma'am. I think just possible council member time.
All right, so next is council member time. Start with Ms. Johnson.
As many of you are aware, Mr. John Johnson passed away June the 29th, 2024. He was a local historian and did a lot of work here in the town of Wytheville. And I would like for, I don't know if I need to make a motion, but I can if need be, for the town to do a resolution for Mr. Johnson and present it to his family. And let me go ahead and clear the air now. Mr. Johnson and I are not related. There are no conflicts of interest. I don't want any perception. So if the town could do that, I would greatly appreciate it.
We have, so would somebody like, so that is a motion.
Yes.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Third, fourth, and fifth. Those people.
Yeah.
I didn't get there in
Hearing
time.
none,
Sorry.
all in favor? Well, let's do a roll call vote. Mr. Gilman.
Gilman, aye.
Edison, aye.
Taylor, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Johnson, aye. And I got one more thing, and Mr. Freeman and I have we discussed this, and I don't know if we need to make a motion for it or not, but for individuals that have 25 years plus service, if we could start recognizing them when they retire in our council meetings and presenting them with their plaque and rocking chair.
So just a little background on this. So historically, what the town did was annually hosted just a little internal meeting during the regularly scheduled hours, sometime between 8 and 5 here in the building, and council members would be invited. Participation was pretty low. Typically only those being honored on that day would participate. So what we had talked about was folks that meet that criteria, that 25 years, that would be specifically, that would get in a lot of your law enforcement that only have to do 25, and then 25 and up, basically, that retire from the town, that we actually honor those folks basically within close proximity to when they leave, rather than just doing it once a year. If someone retires in February, maybe by March or April, we've got them in here for a meeting, or invite them if they would like to do that.
So could you make a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we honor our retirees with 25 plus years service in our council meetings, present them with their plaque and rocking chair, thanking them for their service to the town.
All right, so I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further questions, discussion?
I have a question. I'm sorry. Like if you for VRS, would 20 years count or just 25?
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, so I think for us, I believe 30 years is where the folks get the rocking chair. I think the motion is to do it.
To 25.
I think the motion is for 25. I mean, you all both know this, obviously, that with law enforcement, sometimes you'll get some 25-year folks.
Okay, sure.
So I think 25 makes sense.
25 is good.
I think law enforcement, if you have 20 years of service and the age of 55, you can retire with VRS and hazard duty pay. That's how it works or 25 years in service and age 50. You can retire if they have not changed it since I retired.
So we want to go with 25 instead of 30. Okay.
25 plus.
plus, right, but
Yeah, it's really not connected to VRS. It's just a town, just more or less a town record, so it's
Thank
not,
you.
yeah, it'll get too wonky, I think, if
yeah,
we
I just
try to
didn't
tie
know.
it to
Yes, sir,
VRS.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if there was a rule or something, but thank you, Mr. Freeman.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Any further discussion? All right, let's make this a roll call vote again. Councilwoman Johnson, please.
Johnson, I.
Atkins, aye.
Baylor, aye.
Edison, aye.
Gilman, aye.
It's unanimous. That's right. Anything else, Miss Councilwoman Johnson? Council time. Anything else?
That's it.
Kathy?
The only thing I have, Mr. Freeman and I, we've been talking back and forth for a little bit about some concerns at the shelter that's been brought to my attention. I know he is faithfully working on that, so I just wanted to make note of that. But other than that, I don't at this time.
All right, and I have nothing.
I don't have anything at this time.
I don't have anything.
All right. So at this point, council feels the need to go into closed session. Closed meeting pursuant to 2.2-3711A1, discussion regarding performance appraisals and salaries for appointed employees, and a discussion regarding pending vacancies of an appointed position. Need a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Does council need a 10-minute, 5-minute break? You're now into
It's changed, don't they? Well, no, I'm just saying, but like now.
It is now necessary, town council feels it is now necessary to reconvene into open session by stating that the town council is now in open session. A motion is necessary to certify that only matters lawfully convening the open session were discussed. Need a motion, please?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, this will be a roll call vote, please. Councilwoman Johnson?
Johnson, aye.
Atkins, aye.
Taylor, aye.
Patterson, aye.
Gilman, aye.
Right, so that's, the ayes have it. We are now back in open session. I will say when we left the agenda that I think we completed the agenda. Okay, if we convene this meeting tonight. We good? All right.